Hello, everybody. Welcome to Heading Back to the Window, the NFL edition, week 14. I am your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together, our mission is to help you head back to the window as you cash your tickets and get on with your life. Get ready to spend all that money on Christmas shopping. So, Scott, we're a little late today. I take full responsibility for that. It took me, I had to, as you'll notice, you see my backdrop is kind of tilted. I had to go jack up the side of the apartment to try to even the floor out. And no, actually, the camera is just, I set it up new every shot, every time, because it's in my office and I put things away anyway. So I have to set the camera up each time, and for some reason it just never goes back. I got spots and marks on the floor and all that, yes, but for whatever reason, it's a struggle. My life is a struggle. Hey, how's your day going? Got any winners, losers yet? Anything going on?
That was a hell of a story, by the way. Riveting.
Thanks.
Riveting stuff.
That's the kind of story I tell them we have one viewer, by the way.
Yes, yeah, but for me, no, nothing much. I ended up making a late UFC video last night, so I'm ready for the actual card starting in a couple of hours. Besides that, no, nothing really. I kind of kicked myself for not taking Ohio State against my Wisconsin Badgers because Wisconsin was obviously going to get killed on the road against Ohio State, but I did not have any money on that. Now I'm just waiting for some Army-Navy action.
I kind of had a not really a call to cops, but it was I had Louisiana Tech in one of the early games covering 11, and they struggled the whole game. They're actually behind at halftime. They stepped on the gas in the second half. They're up by 9. I get the foul with 14 seconds left. They go to the line. They sink them both. I've got the miracle push, Scott. It's the first time they've been close to the number all day. All they have to do is just not let Lafayette go down there and score. And of course, instead of going down and taking the desperation 3-pointer, they just let Lafayette drive right to the basket for the easy layup, and they win by 9. And the ticket goes poof. So that, that sucks.
That'll break.
Hey, Brad, I know Brad Crawford's here, late arrival, but he's here. We were late too, Brad. So yeah, don't feel bad. It's that kind of lazy Saturday. Colder than shit where I am. I don't know. How is it cold up there in Long Island, Scott?
I believe it's room temperature. I'm gonna keep making jokes about being indoors. So if you're gonna keep setting me up like that, I'm gonna keep going with it.
Have you been outside this week?
This week, yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I've been out. That's good to know. That is good to know. So let's get rolling, man. It's NFL. It's week 14. It's the kind of the equivalent of moving day, if you were to put it in PGA terms, Scott. It's kind of Saturday, if you will, and everybody's getting ready to make their moves, setting up for the last 4 weeks, or the Sunday play, if you will, to stretch that analogy even further. So we'll update our little contest that we have going. Scott was the victor on the college football side. Congratulations. You made up for your late season collapse last year, while I am currently in the lead on our NFL picks. And
that's right. We're going to have to we have to recap the final standings of those because we don't have another college show.
I know I was thinking about that as I was getting ready to preparing the NFL show, that I kind of dropped the ball on that we really didn't put together a tie the bow on it. We said on the show, like, yes,
we could for one of the bowl game videos we're going to do. I guess we could wrap it up for the first one.
Maybe we'll just do it for every bowl game video. How about that? We'll just do it. Brad wants to know if I went to see the Rouge last night. No, because a massive cold front came in about 6 o'clock local time, about an hour before the game tipped off, and it was colder than shit. And I saw it was coming on the news. I'm like, I'm not going to go do that. Park like 9 miles and then walk in the cold. Like, no. If it would have stayed the same temperature it was all day, I would have gone. But because I'm not just so much lazy as I just don't like being uncomfortable. That's what's happened to my old age, Scott. I'll still walk the couple blocks. I don't care. But if it's cold, fuck it. I'm not doing it. I'm staying home and checking it out on TV. So, sorry. Ruse did well. Ruse covered the number. I probably would have bet against them. So, I didn't really think they would be able to. They're that good. I'm so jaded the Roos being terrible, though. So if the Roos ever have a successful season, it's going to catch me completely by surprise. And I probably won't believe it until they cut down the nets as they play one shining moment. I'm still going to say, well, fuck, that team's overrated. They're really not that good. We got tornadoes in St. Louis last night. Yeah, I saw that. They had tornado watches and warnings, and then I woke up this morning and saw like the Kentucky had been devastated. I assumed that was the same storm front that blasted Kentucky. Jesus, what a tragedy, man. That's awful. And yeah, in December, there's snow in Hawaii, there's tornadoes in December. Good times, Scott. I understand it's 72 inside where you are, though, so that's what's important.
Something like that. I actually heard it snowed in Vegas a couple of days ago. So really interesting weather all around, which, is going to happen when you're in the middle of December.
You know what? We always said that if we ever hit 7 in a row, we weren't sure that hell would freeze over, but it's snowing in Vegas is getting close. It's getting close to hell freezing over right there. So that takes so I had the Giants and the Dolphins under 39.5. I think they put up 6 points on it. No, I think they were 20-9 was the final there.
It was a sweat-free winner. That's all that matters.
Yeah, at 39.5, it was still a sweat-free winner. You, on the other hand, sir, you had the Pittsburgh Steelers team total under 20. How'd that go for you?
They scored 17 points in the fourth quarter and landed 20. So I got a push out of it.
Call the cops. Rachel got a push. So that takes me on the season to 7-4-1. We did take a week off when you went to Vegas to check and see if it was snowing, apparently. So 7-4-1. You are 5-6-1. Still in search of the elusive 500 record, but Godspeed. Good Lord willing in the creek don't rise. You'll get there, buddy. So let's kick it off with our NFL show. Say hi to everybody that stopped by. Joan is here. Good to see you, Joan, out there in PA. I assume it's cold there as well. Underman checking in as well. Excellent. Well, Scott, speaking of Vegas, let's talk about Vegas as we've got the Las Vegas Raiders headed right down the street from yours truly as they take on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Geehaw Field at Arrowhead, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It's Chiefs 9.5. I do know that. And the total on that is 48. Scooter, don't look now, but Chiefs playing some defense. Who'd have thunk it, man? Last 5 games, giving up 11.2 points per game. Of course, the offense not broken, despite what you say, but they are slumping a bit. They have had some bad breaks. They're just averaging 23 points per game. Of course, 41 of those came against who? Las Vegas. So take away that Las Vegas game, the other 4 games are averaging less than 19 points. Not a good look at all. Can the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs keep playing that way, Scott, or is it fool's gold?
I think they can keep playing that way. The question is Kansas City's offense going to struggle, or is it going to play well against the Raiders again? Because the offense, with the exception of the Raiders game, has been a mess for about 2 months, give or take. Yeah. So
it really hasn't looked right all season. It's just something's been out of sync. It's not. It's still fine. It's still better than average, but it's not the offense that we've been used to seeing the last couple of years for whatever reason. A lot of the same personnel, but
for me, I'm looking at the under just because I do think Kansas defense will play better, especially outdoors, because you're playing in a dome in Vegas. That definitely helps out. But I do think that Kansas City's defense, which fared well against Carr the first time around, will fare well once again. And I do think that the winter feel in Kansas City will have some impact on the offense. So I don't expect Kansas City to drop 40 again. Give me the under. As for the actual spread here, I'm going to go with Kansas City because I still don't think the Raiders are very good.
I'm doing the same. I'm loath to thread the needle to try to cover a big spread and play an under, but I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think you've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 27-10, something like that. So I'll play the Chiefs to cover and the under as well. And man, we'll just get rid of all the tension right off the top, Scott. We'll talk about your favorite team next, and that's going to be the New York Jets. As I don't know if they're favorite team, they're your local team. They're the team that you follow locally. Jets are hosting the New Orleans Saints. Saints on the road laying 5.5. 43 is the number here. Man, both of these teams not a good last month and a half or so. New Orleans 0-5 last 5. Jets 1-4 over that stretch. They are bleeding points. Both of these defenses are dreadful. The Jets cannot stop turning the football over. They are minus 16 in turnover margin. That's not good. To be trite, Scott, something's got to give. Tell me how you don't just play the Jets and the points at home and hold your nose.
Because I'm taking the Saints minus the points. Looking at the spot here, I think it's a decent spot for New Orleans. They played on Thursday night, have a couple extra days of rest. Taysom Hill, we know, isn't a real quarterback, but luckily for the Saints, the Jets can't stop the run, as we've seen time and time again. So I do think that Hill should have some success. They're getting Kamara back. We know how big of a deal Kamara is in that offense. He's at least some weapon that the Saints really didn't have for the last month and change. The defense for the Saints, we do know, is good, though. I think Wilson's going to struggle. It'll be a hideous game, don't get me wrong. But I do think that the Jets will score around 13 points in this game. I think the Saints can do enough to get to around 23. So I'm going to take the Saints in the under.
Okay. All right. I'm going to directly fade you. I'm going to take the Jets in the over. It's really the clash of the awful offenses against the awful defenses. Who do you think is going to blink? I think there'll be more bad breaks. I think the Jets can't stop turning the ball over. I think there's going to be at least one short field, if not a pick six for Taysom for New Orleans.
I'm just kind of curious why you like the over there. If you think Taysom Hill stinks like I do, and you think the Jets are terrible as well,
because I think it's going to be a day where bad offenses are better than the bad defenses. You've got to pick one, Scott. You pick. I think the bad defenses are going to step up, and
are we sure the Saints defense is bad?
Well,
I don't think that's a bad unit.
Well, we keep saying that, and they keep giving up a shit ton of points. So I don't know.
What they do against Dallas, though? They weren't bad against Dallas last week. I thought they were fine.
Were they fine?
Yeah. What'd they do that was wrong? Dak was off the entire night. You had one long pitch play to Pollard. But I thought the Saints did a pretty good job considering the fact that Hill had 4 interceptions. Some of them were short fields, and one was a pick six. I didn't think the Saints defense was bad last week.
Well, you know what? They were better than they had been against Dallas.
Yeah, Buffalo killed them. I'm aware Buffalo killed them. But...
Buffalo killed them. Philly killed them. They gave up 27 to Atlanta. They gave up 23 to Tennessee. It's just not a good look. By the way, I did take I couldn't resist. I did take the Tigers plus 23.5 against KU.
Okay.
Joan wants to know where my Dallas shirt is. I burned it. Our bet was to wear it one time. I don't have to pollute my soul with that every week. No, I do still have it. I might pull it out here for luck, something like that. Thomas Bowe, good to see you, Thomas. He's Thomas always on top of the public bets, and this week it is the Titans, Seahawks, and Chargers, and the Green Bay Packers. Sounds about right. Jones says New Orleans has to bounce back. Has to.
Okay. I mean, they had to for the last month, but I do think having Kamara back's a huge addition.
It is, and this is a Jets defense that's been obviously worse than the Saints for the entire season. So, and they are giving up a shit ton of rushing yards. So certainly what New Orleans wants to do there. I'll just go the other way just to be contrarian. San Francisco at Cincinnati.
I found this game to be the hardest one on the entire board.
Well, it's two teams that you're not really sure what their identity is. They've stepped up, they've fallen back. So it's a lot of, we talk about it with a lot of these games, which team is going to show up. Crash, by the way, good to see Crash Landon here. He's a Saints fan, and he says they're going to bounce. We're going to bounce back next year. I agree. I mean, you guys got to find a quarterback or keep Jameis healthy. I think Jameis is good enough. If that defense is as good as we thought they were, I think Jameis is good enough to take you to the Super Bowl.
Truth is, it's a mix because New Orleans, besides the fact that Sean Payton has kind of underachieved with the core that they had in the past, when you're kind of in cap hell, you don't really have much of a choice. The Hill contract's an absolute joke. You're supposed to have Michael Thomas, who hasn't played a single game this season, and he was your best receiver. So you're missing your best quarterback and your best wide receiver, and your best running back missed about a month. So I'm really not surprised the Saints fell apart because the injury report was pretty brutal for them all season long.
Well, and they had O-line problems as well.
Yeah, of course.
So As far as this game goes, as far as the San Francisco, the Niners and the Bengals, yeah, I'm with you, because just about the time you thought the Niners were going to be a factor there in the NFC West, they just beat the shit out of the Rams. They did what you're supposed to do against Jacksonville. They got past Minnesota, of course. Then they go to Seattle. Big game there with a division opponent that's played terrible football this year. And they shit the bed, Scott. They go up there and lose to the Seahawks. Can't run the football. And now I don't know what we have with this team. As far as the Bengals go, they had a game where I thought they were going to show up against the Chargers, and they let it get away from them and tried to mount a late comeback only to turn the ball over and lose by 20, whatever it was. So, you know what? Which team do you believe in?
I feel like I would pick the Bengals if Burrow was fully healthy, but I do have serious question marks about that injury he has to his finger, because you can tell in the second half he clearly did not look right. And I don't know if it was officially ruled broken or if it was just severely sprained. But you can tell, though, that his throwing, just mechanics or just his actual accuracy, was definitely not as sharp in the second half as it was in the first half.
Right.
The 49ers are missing Mitchell, who's their best running back. They still have Jeff Wilson, who struggled in spot starts this season. The offensive line is still good. This is why I find it so difficult, because I don't trust either of these teams on a week-in, week-out basis. But, oh, boy.
I know, right?
I'm going to go with the Niners. I have a hard time trusting Burrow with the finger issue. But you can make a case either way. If you think I'm betting on this game, you're out of your mind. Let's put it that way.
See, and this is a San Francisco team that when they were humming, when they were doing well, they were just absolutely shutting down the running game.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the capability, they have the defense to be able to contain Mixon, because that's going to be the key, especially if Burrow's banged up. And it's, a finger thing. It's not like you sit around with you take treatments and you do all the electrical. I mean, it's if you got a broken finger, you got a fucking broken finger, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, obviously there is. I mean, the treatment that I'm going to get for broken finger, the treatment Joe Burrow's going to get, obviously going to be a little bit different. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? At the core of it, it's still a broken bone and it has to heal. So, is that official? Have you seen that? It isn't officially a broken finger.
That's the thing is, I don't know if it's officially ruled broken or not, but all I know is that it was giving him serious discomfort, and it seemed to be plaguing him the entire second half.
Now, if it's some sort of a ligament issue or, a joint thing, that could get better in a week. So I'd really like to know. I'm gonna go the other way here. I'm gonna play the home team. I'm gonna play the home dog in this spot. I know home team hasn't meant shit this season, but I'll take the Bengals and count on Burrow snapping back to 85%, which I think will be good enough to get it done. As far as the total goes, I had confidence in this Bengals defense up until about 2-3 weeks ago, and I haven't been impressed lately. So I think it's going to, oddly enough, turn into a bit of a shootout. I'll take the over.
I am actually going to lean to the under. I'm going fully disagreement here, but I don't trust Garoppolo. I don't know if Deebo Samuel's going to play, so that'll hurt the offense as well. But Cincinnati, I do think, is going to struggle offensively with Burrow's injury. So I think they might try to run the ball more. I expect more long sustaining drives involving some handoffs. So I'm actually going to go with the under in this one.
All right. Very good. JC Stone says, thoughts and prayers to anybody looking to bet the NFL. Well, that's certainly been the case for me this season. I'm not going to lie. It's we've talked about it before. I haven't been riding the struggle bus. I've been driving it. I've been driving the struggle bus in NFL this year, Scott. So looking to turn it around though, bud. Hopefully as some of these teams maybe reveal themselves a little bit more, get more actionable information. You should have more data points, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. Here's one that we're certainly pretty thrilled about. I found this one to be a little bit difficult just because of the number. It's the Jags and the Titans. Titans at home throwing 8.5. 43.5 is the number. By the way, in your lifetime, do you remember seeing a week in the NFL with totals this low? I don't think there's anything over 48.5.
I would say no. I know that NFL games have trended under for the majority of the season, so it seems like the odds makers are adjusting, whether it's an overcorrection or just an accurate one. So no, I'm not fully surprised by it because you have seen games trend under. But is there any way you can like the over with a game involving the Jaguars? Because I can't.
No, you can't do that with that offense. Rick Ruler says it's like two friends having a beer and taking a piss over the fence. I'm all right with the first part. I don't know about just hanging out and taking a piss. I guess I'll take it. That's cool. You ever pee outside? Hey, you seem like a guy that may not have ever peed outside. Have you peed outside in your life?
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
Okay. I don't know, because you're from Long Island and you went to school where
when you gotta go, you gotta go. You know, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
All right, good enough. Have you camped? Have you gone camping like in a tent and shit?
I think once, but I wasn't like a family thing. It was a camp thing.
Okay.
I've never been a big outdoors guy, believe it or not.
No, I totally picked up on that vibe. That's why I asked that question. I mean, because you're a city guy. It's not like you're an uncultured swine, ain't never been camping. You're just from the city, and I'm always curious to the exposure to quote unquote country stuff from people that live like in a big city. Like I live in a city, but you live like where there's nothing but fucking city.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, so as far as this one goes, Scott, yeah, I think we can agree. I like the under there. Are you surprised Tannehill hasn't been better? That he hasn't picked up more of the slack since since Derrick Henry's gone out?
I feel like you can make a case no, because throughout his entire time with Tennessee, the offense was predicated on the ground game, and that set up the play action. So even though Tannehill's getting paid to do a lot through the air, I never thought of Tennessee as being an offense that would succeed because of the passing game. So I am not surprised that when the offense became one-dimensional, Tannehill struggled because the defense was no longer kept off guard, and suddenly, instead of crashing the box every time, he had a lot less open windows to throw the ball to.
Yeah, see, that was just like we had like if we had rehearsed an answer in an exchange to make my point, that would be gone exactly the same way. Yes, exactly right. Tannehill has made a living off of the play action pass, faking it to the very real threat of Derrick Henry busting it for 70 yards at any point in time. Well, I guess not if you're on the other side of the 30, but I digress. So, yeah, they're absolutely keying on Tannehill in this offense, and it hasn't been going well for Tennessee. Do they do the unthinkable, Scott? Do they lose to Jacksonville at home here? Is there any shot of that? I mean, this is a team.
Well, they lost to Houston before, home to Houston. So I guess
that's what I'm saying. If you're dropping a game by 9 to Houston and you're at home, I think anything is possible. Although this Jacksonville team, they showed that little something. A lot of teams you talk about, you have a little hangover the next week. Maybe if you win your first game or you have a big victory, like, well, they'll have a letdown spot in the next game. Jacksonville, after their big victory over Buffalo, has had a fucking letdown month. They have played 4 pretty dreadful games. I guess they were kind of in it against Indy, but that was just really a fight to beat the number or not for the most part in that game. But they were non-competitive against San Francisco. They let Atlanta take care of them, and then they just didn't show up at all on the road against the Rams. So if death taxes in the under, I think is the play here. But as far as the side goes, Jesus Christ, I'll take the 8.5.
I'm going Tennessee.
Okay, of course you are.
I'm going Tennessee just because I think Jacksonville's a lost cause.
This is one of those, like, if somebody says, what gun to your head, what do you bet? If some gun to my head on this one, I'd say how many bullets are in there. So
that's a fair question.
This is just awful. Oscar and Felix, that's pretty close. I like, yeah, I don't hate that. Can you get behind that, Scott?
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay, I don't think I'm quite as much of a slob in far as like housekeeping and shit as Oscar, but yeah, I could see that. Although you're certainly a much bigger sports fan than Felix, and so yeah, but I'll take that analogy. So yeah, man, we're all over. Usually it's you and I, like, it's kumbaya and like.
But we agree on the under in that one. It's just from a spread perspective, Jacksonville's just such.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, I don't know if that was you or me locking up. If it didn't lock up on you, it must have been me. Browns -3 at home against the Ravens. An intriguing battle there in the AFC North. Browns -3. So that basically they've got them even in this one. And 43.5 is the positively AFC North-like number there. Luka Doncic's out, by the way. Scott just had that come across the desk for tomorrow. For those of you that will play the Mavs. So, the Ravens, real or pretenders, buddy?
Oh, boy. I'm assuming everybody's a pretender because I can't trust anybody. You?
I don't trust anyone.
Am I wrong for being a kind of, I'd say a little bit paranoid about teams because it seems like every team has fallen apart at some point this season?
You said that. You said that, not me. But yeah, yeah, it does seem like every team has been the dad that left and then occasionally comes back. You know, it's been a real roller coaster ride with a lot of these teams, especially on defense. Brad Crawford said, I got arrested for peeing in the back of a bar. Car rolled up in the alley 2-star. Well, you just got a fine. That's lucky because I used to have a buddy of mine that got like the low-level sex offender charge because he peed on a wall in the Midtown shopping area, and they call him, and it was a whole deal, and he was fucking had this sex offender thing on there. So yeah, if you got out with a fine for peeing, that's absolutely. I give you guys props for putting yourself out there, handicapping every game. A tough gig. It is. We have fun doing it, but as far as trying to make
don't try this at home.
No, don't. We don't, and make no mistake, we don't bet every game. If some of these games we talk about how reluctant we are to play them, there is in no way, shape, or form are we betting on them. But yeah, we're opinionated fuckers. We've got thoughts on literally every game. So why not share them with anybody that wants to stop by and listen? Scott, this Baltimore team, they have really struggled last week against Pittsburgh. They could get nothing.
They struggled the week before against Cleveland too.
Yeah, they did. They won ugly there against Cleveland. They're not running the football, buddy. They're not running the football well. They've, for whatever reason, and it's probably a lack of running backs would be my guess. This is the wheels have kind of come off the running game, and much like the situation with Tannehill, when you key on Lamar Jackson to throw the football, you can make good things happen on defense, and that's exactly what's been happening. Cleveland, like you said, they were able to pick up the victory at home over Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. Now they've got the immediate rematch. Do you just bet the other way in this one?
I'm going with Cleveland. I know Cleveland hasn't really had much success against Baltimore, I don't know, ever, but I do think that it's a pretty good spot for Cleveland. Of course, they had the off week last week. Baltimore had the heartbreaking loss of the Steelers, but the more heartbreaking part is the injury to Marlon Humphrey, because their secondary went from one guy to non-existent very, very quickly. And even though Cleveland was awful offensively in that game against Baltimore a couple weeks ago, so was Baltimore. So if I have question marks about Baltimore's offense and the secondary is awful, then don't I have to take Cleveland at home?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's solid logic. And, I think at this point, I think the Cleveland defense is better. I know that's kind of sacrilege to say, but
it might have to be. Who's Baltimore's corners?
Right. They've had that problem, all since before the season when Marcus Peters went down and the other one went down. Of course, they got Judon left. So yeah, it's a shell of what it was last year. Rick Ruler says he's a former Bengals season ticket holder. Take the Niners. Fuck, now you tell me. Jesus, that was like 4 picks ago. That's carved in stone. We've already sent that one up the tube to corporate offices. It's over. Zewak Harder says no bet. Stay away from this game. Yeah, I don't even know which game he's talking about, whether it's this one or the last one, but I agree with it. Whichever one it is. For this one, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns in a rematch as well, and I want no part of an over involving Baltimore, so I will take the under. Scott?
I'm going with the under. I know I just roasted Baltimore's defense, but I still don't exactly trust the offense to light it up, so to speak, and I definitely don't trust Mayfield to light it up. I expect an ugly game, but I do think Cleveland will find some success on the ground. Hopefully they get Kareem Hunt more involved because he was really good in the first meeting, and they just seem to stop using him in the second half, and I really have no idea why. So I'm hoping that he'll get more touches. Landry actually looked pretty good in the first game, so there were some holes in this Ravens pass defense. And I'm gonna go with the Browns in the under. I think the defense holds. Give me a pretty ugly game of, I'd say, 24-17.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's going to be another knife fight in the alley. Ziwa Carter says Baltimore. Okay, all right, fair enough. And you'll be on the right side fading us there, bud.
I'm not going to be shocked if Baltimore wins, but I got to look at the injury report.
Rick Ruler says, if you can't piss behind a bar, where can you piss? You want to tell him, or should I?
The bathroom?
Yeah. There is a spot that they have picked out for you. I'm just saying. But yeah, when you got to go, you got to go. Panthers hosting the Falcons, two of our all-time favorites. Panthers laying 2.5, 41 is the number there. My prediction is not only is this you're going to play the Panthers here, it's going to be your play of the week.
No, I do like the Panthers here. But if you think I'm taking Cam Newton as a play of the week, you're out of your damn mind. Like that is not on the cards for me. I like the under because I don't trust either quarterback, but I'm going to go with Carolina because Atlanta's a team that has the better quarterback in this matchup, which is something you cannot actually say comparing them to any other team besides maybe Carolina. Right. But I do like Carolina's defense a lot more than Atlanta's. I do think that the ground game should have some success. As long as the Panthers don't expect Newton to throw the ball all the time, I think they'll be fine. But I'm mostly just expecting Matt Ryan to look awful against Carolina again. He'll be running for his life. They can't protect him. Give me Carolina and give me the under.
Okay. That's exactly what I've got picked out in this one. Carolina in the under. I don't have a ton of faith in Cam Newton. I don't see that offense getting a lot going. But I think the defense is going to be able to impose their will there for the most part on the Falcons. Brad says 30 years ago, now you get caught being a public sex offender. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I got a buddy. Same thing happened, man. Brutal. Your other team, Scott, must be nice to get two teams.
Oh, they both suck.
Yeah, that's the only caveat there. Cowboys.
That's the kicker.
Headed to our nation's capital to take on the Washington football team. Cowboys 4.5-point road favorites. Washington at the total here is 48, buddy. 48. So I don't know. Not too long ago, I was ready to anoint Dallas easily the best team in the NFC. Not positive they aren't still the best team in the NFC, but they certainly
even the NFC East or the entire conference.
Yeah, well, they've given us a little pause for concern with a couple of a brutal loss there against Vegas and a ridiculously bad performance by their offense against the Chiefs, where they managed to put up 9 points. Does the AFC West just own this team, or is that the problem, Scott?
I think the issue with Dallas is the fact that the defense still is very good. I know that Dan Quinn has done a pretty good job as a defensive coordinator, but there's really not much talent on this unit. Of course, you have Diggs, who gets a bunch of interceptions. He gets burned half the time, but he gambles and he gets interceptions. And Parsons is nuts. So we know that those two guys are really good, if not just Parsons, but they got some talent on there. The pass rush has been underwhelming. You've had some injuries. Randy Gregory is still, as far as I know, not playing. DeMarcus Lawrence came back last week. I'm sure a lot of people didn't realize he came back because he didn't do anything. So people didn't realize that he was back in the fold. As for the offense, they have been hit or miss because Dak is definitely not as mobile as he used to be, and the offensive line has been weaker than in years past. So it seems like the Cowboys have struggled with pass protection. They've struggled when it comes to really running the ball with Elliott because I think Pollard's the better running back, and Pollard is now injured and might not play in this game. So they might have to give Elliott 20-something carries, even though he's basically on one leg out there. Mike McCarthy guaranteed to win. So you know what that means. I'm taking Washington plus the points.
It's the dreaded vote of confidence.
Why would I want to lay 4.5 here?
Fernando Encina says it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. I highly agree with that.
That is true. But why would I want to lay 4.5 with the Cowboys with an injured running back core, an underwhelming offensive line, against a Washington team that's actually been playing good defense lately and seems to be clicking at the right time.
I'm with you. I'm with you here, and there is just too many questions on the as far as Pollard goes, because they're arguably their two best players, Pollard and Parsons, are questionable for this one. So I'm guessing they're going to both suit up.
I would not be surprised if Pollard misses because he's got a pretty bad injury to his foot.
Okay. But I'm with you as far as the football team. They've been playing good ball, Scott. Don't look now. They've won and covered 4 straight. After that debacle there in Denver where they got nothing going, they've actually been competent, and they've been competent on defense. So that's kind of the defensive unit that we've been waiting all year for them to show up. So I'll ride the hot hand here at home, and I'm with you. I'll take Washington. I'll take the 4.5. As far as the total goes, I think it stays under. I'm not convinced this Dallas offense is hitting on all cylinders right now, especially if Pollard doesn't go. I'll take the under.
I'm going to go with the under as well. I feel like the deciding factor of this game, which is why I like the under and Washington correlated, is the fact that, Washington can run the ball with Gibson. They really want to milk the clock. We've seen Washington have a lot of long sustaining drives. Main example is the Tampa Bay game when they went on that 90-something yard drive to milk about, what was that, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
To win the game pretty much. But I do think that Washington will run the ball, try to drain clock, and hopefully win a defensive battle. So I think it's going to be a close game. I'm not picking this game to be a blowout for Washington, but I do like a 23-20 type of game where Washington sneaks it out, maybe a field goal at the buzzer. But I do think that you will see the Cowboys have moments in this game and come up short.
Agreed. Quinn, not a good coach for the Falcons.
I don't know if you can argue how bad he was, though. Yes, they blew the Super Bowl, but they made it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, there were worse coaches out there.
He's the DC Dallas now?
Yeah. I think he's done a pretty good job considering the fact the unit was god-awful last year.
Yep, agreed. Brad wants to clarify that the line was long. No, dude, we're just busting your balls. Like two guys at the fence would be busting each other's balls.
I find it interesting, though. It's called the bathroom, but there's no bath, and it's called the restroom, and people don't sleep in there.
What is the deal? You can't park on the parkway and drive on the driveway.
Mm-hmm. I had a friend of mine who worked at I had a friend of mine who worked at a place that made fire hydrants. Couldn't park anywhere near the place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's a little Stevie Wright.
A little bit.
Very nice. Seahawks laying 8.5. My God, who could the Seahawks possibly be 8.5 points better than, Scott? Oh, is it the Texans?
Yes, it is.
You want to lay the Seahawks with 8.5 on the road? 40.5 is the total because somebody's got to score in this game. Oh my God.
I like the under again.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme here, buddy, but you're absolutely
I don't even know if I like an over so far. Have I actually liked an over up to this point?
Not sure. I'll go back and check here in a second. Yeah, Seattle.
I'm pretty sure I've taken every under. 9
of their 12 games have gone under the total. So, yeah, I don't see how you get away from it. And then they going up against the Texans with no, you played all unders. I played
I've got all unders.
I played one over. God, we suck.
Yep.
Somebody's going to score some points. We're going to do stupid, but yeah,
I think you have 2 overs.
It ain't going to be this game.
Do you have the San Francisco under or over?
I got the over.
Then you have 2 because you have the Jets over as well.
Did I write that down wrong?
You said you like the over in the Jets game.
Oh no, you're right. I hadn't. Never mind. Yeah, it was on my sheet wrong. Yes. As far as this one goes, Davis Mills. The under is certainly the play. That's the easy part.
I'm taking Seattle.
You're gonna lay 8.5 on the road? Are you really?
I kind of have to because even though Taylor was awful last year, Taylor scares me more than Mills. I know Mills is a bad quarterback, so I'm going with Seattle. They picked up a nice win against San Francisco last week. I think some of that momentum carries over. But Houston had like 140 total yards against Indianapolis last week. This team's awful no matter where it goes. Give me Seattle.
cannot run the football at all. And then last week they doubled down on that by not being able to pass the football either. That's 141 yards of total offense last week, Scott. That's just fucking ridiculous. I'm with you. I can't back a team that does that. Memon says Ziwa Carter rather says Dallas the over in that Cowboys game. I could see it going that way.
I can see it. I just think if Washington's going to win, I think they're going to have to control the clock.
Yeah, that's and I think their defense has been playing better. That's the main thing. Mm-hmm. The defense of this Washington football team there, and the kind of little mini slump the Dallas offense has been in the last couple of games. Questionable Pollard. Kind of.
By the way, question: was the total in the Army-Navy game 35 or 85?
Was it what? Say it again.
I haven't seen a single punt yet. Was the total in the Navy-Army game 35 or 85?
It was 35. What's the score?
7-7 Army in the red zone. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Nice.
I took punt at -150. Didn't work out on Navy.
I've been watching the Mizzou Kansas game, so, and because I've got the monitor up here, I only got one screen. T-Train blew a piston today. Oh God. That's, unless it's Joe Dumars. sorry. That's the worst. That's just, unless you are a world-class shade tree mechanic, you're fucking taking that somewhere, and you're still gonna have to get it. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to take the machine shop. And ugly. Good luck, Tony. That sucks, buddy. That does suck. Hopefully you can win some money this week and maybe offset that a little bit, because it ain't cheap. It ain't what you want to happen right before Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Passover, whatever. Passover's around Passover's the spring, right, Scott?
April, usually.
Yeah, okay. That's spring to you and me. Yeah. Lions and Broncos. Wow, the games just keep getting better, buddy. Lions pick up that big first win last week off the schneid against Minnesota. How the fuck did that happen? You watch that Minnesota team play Thursday night. Like, how did the Detroit Lions beat that team? I don't know. Psycho. That's what they are.
Under. Got to keep it going. Give me the under.
God, this is the team I'm going to break out the overs. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, first of all, let's start with the fact that I don't think the Broncos are 10.5 points better than anybody. I think this line.
That's fair. I didn't say that I'm taking the Broncos minus the points here.
Oh no, I
like
know.
The under.
I know. I'm just trying to justify an overplay here in any way, shape, or form. And I realize that's not a
good luck.
It's not a great way to handicap. I totally understand that, but it's like poker, Scott. You got to plug the holes in your game, and if you got too many one side or the other, you got to figure out where the hole is. So, but this is a Denver team that's done nothing but play unders. They got nothing going on offense. The defense is good. It's not great, but it's all right. Yeah, I'm going to break my under streak, but it ain't this game. I'm with you. I've got the Lions and the points. What do you got?
I'm going with the Lions plus the points because I'm not sure Denver scores more than 20 in this game.
Yeah.
So why would I lay 10 with them, basically?
Yep.
And I got to take the under because even though the Lions moved the ball at the end of the game against the Vikings on that game-winning drive, it was full prevent. The Lions did well offensively in the first half and then completely shut it down for about 28 minutes after that. Denver's defense is good. I know they lost to Kansas City by 13 last week. You had a pick 6 in there. So they really only gave up 15 points. Yeah. I thought they were really good last week. Give me the under.
Yeah, defense did a good job last week. Defense certainly played well enough to win, no question about it. Lions without DeAndre Swift this week.
They're also missing Jamal Williams.
Yep. That's
so they're using a third string running back, and I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball.
See, the thing is, if you get to that level of running backs, I think they're just about interchangeable, Scott. DeAndre Swift may be an 8. Whoever's the third string guy may be a 6.5. I don't think that's an appreciable difference.
I think Williams is better than whichever backup you want to use.
Yeah, okay, but how much better is he? A game changer? Is he worth points? How many points is he worth? That's what you have to quantify.
I think Swift is, I'd say, worth about a point and change in comparison to Williams, because I actually do think Swift in the passing game gives them a lot just from screen passes, etc. Williams might be worth like half a point comparatively speaking to the other running backs.
Okay,
but
that might be right.
It's not pretty, because you got to remember what team you're dealing with. It's not like the Lions have no running game, so they're going to be okay throwing the ball a bunch of times. Like, the passing game stinks too. So now they got nothing.
Jared Goff on a heater, buddy.
Yes, he's on a heater.
T-Train says when the Pistons don't piss, you're going nowhere. Too much ton, not enough piss. Absolutely true. Giants at Chargers, another big number. Chargers at home, laying 10. God, another team, fuck, are you really 10 points better than anybody? 43 is the number there for this one.
Give me the over. I'm taking a stance on one. Give me the over. It's a hot take, but I'm taking the over.
With the Giants?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I think this total's too low.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think the Chargers defense is very good.
Okay.
And I get that Mike Glennon's probably a quarterback. It's not Jake Fromm, so I guess that's a step in the right direction. But Miami's defense is a pretty solid unit. I think we'd agree with that. So even though Glennon struggled in a short spot start, I think he'll look better with a full week of prep going into this game. The Chargers defensively, we've seen be a mess on several occasions. And the Giants defense is okay, but the game's in a dome. Herbert seemed like he got his groove back last week. I know that Keenan Allen's out, which is going to hurt, but I do think that the Chargers will move the ball a bit and the Giants will move the ball a bit. I'm actually going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Giants plus the points. I think the spread's a little bit too high. As my somewhat bold call of the week.
Okay. Well, this Chargers team has done nothing but disappoint me. I've been wrong on them at every turn.
That's why I'm taking the points.
I can't get behind this Giants offense, buddy. I can't do it. They've scored 10 points a game their last 3 games. No, can't do it. I don't know what's wrong with Barkley. I don't know why they can't run the football, but they can't. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the Chargers and the under.
I think my bold stance is on the actual total. I do think that number is a bit high for the Chargers. Yeah, the number's a bit high for the Chargers, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I just hate this Giants offense so much right now. And you Fair are enough. Taking the over. I got you down. All right. Second to the last game, the Battle of the Bees, Scott. Super Bowl preview right here, buddy.
Something like that. Probably not.
Travel down to the Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers laying 3.5 at home. 54 is the total. Oh, I forgot about the 54 on this one. T-Train says it depends on which Chargers team shows up. Yeah, no shit. The only thing you can bet on, it'll be the opposite one of what I think is going to show up. That's pretty much the way it is. Giants been hanging out in my town, Tucson, this week. My New York friends said we can keep them. You can probably plug the Jets in there as well, right? Let's see.
You definitely can make that argument.
Hey, quick update from my Tigers. 4 minutes left in the first half. Mizzou down by 15. Congratulations. The dogs are not barking today.
It sounded like they were barking, but
That's a live looking at the Mizzou offense right now. Mm-hmm. As far as this one goes, here's a little heads up for you, Scott. Anytime you hear the dog start barking and everything goes silent, that's a good opportunity for you to talk.
The truth is, I wasn't sure if I was waiting for another dog bark or I was trying to pace it. But do you think that's
in the barks?
Is that an omen for Buffalo this week, or do you think that they get buried?
2 schools of thought here, brother. One of them is Buffalo ain't that good, and what we saw last week was very indicative of the type of team they are.
I'm throwing last week in the garbage.
The other school of thought is this is an excellent bounce-back opportunity for the Bills and Sean McDermott to rally the troops, fly that Buffalo flag high, and go down there and make a real fucking statement and declare yourself back in the race because you're the Buffalo Bills. My dog has
the
a
issue
hot
that
take.
we have is that
Agreed,
do you agree
JC.
with that though? That tossing last week in the garbage is probably the right move because the weather was so bad. I don't exactly know what takeaways you can have when one team attempts 3 passes. Can you really have a takeaway in that game?
Yeah, you can't stop the run.
But did they have a hard time stopping the run? Because you had one carry
away.
from Harris for 60-something yards and a touchdown. Buffalo's defense only gave up 14 points. They really were not that bad.
You're right. If you take away, although that's not.
Of course, that's selective because you're picking and choosing which plays you can keep and which plays you can't. But the point is that Buffalo, we know, can't run the ball. We know New England can. And the game was played in weather where you couldn't throw the ball. So it was really a perfect condition, just weather-wise, for New England to win.
Yep.
Kind of have to toss that game in the garbage.
Okay. You say so.
I'm still taking Tampa.
What do we? How about that blizzard they played in down there in Jacksonville when they lost 9-6? That was
a hell of a game.
We throw that one out too.
No, that one you can keep.
Okay,
but I'm taking Tampa and I'm taking the over. Simply put, it's not even the game last week. It's the fact that with Tre'Davious White being injured, that Bills secondary is a mess, and you couldn't tell from last week because they didn't end up throwing the ball at all for New England. But with White out, do you trust any of those corners?
No. That's the problem. They've been able to kind of put it together with bailing wire and spit, but any team basically with a quarterback that has a pulse has been able to beat the shit out of this Tampa Bay defense.
Wait, Tampa or Buffalo?
No, I was speaking of Tampa with their corner situation.
Well, both of them are bad, but I'm saying without White, I do think Buffalo's secondary is significantly worse than it was previously. So I like the over. I think both teams will move the ball. But I have a hard time trusting Buffalo when there is no offensive balance with that team because they actually cannot run the football. Now, Tampa's run defense has kind of been a mixed bag. Since Vita Vea came back, the run defense has been better. If Buffalo's really going to throw the ball 40-something times because they kind of need to, you're expecting what? 1 or 2 Allen interceptions, maybe more?
Yeah, that might.
I think turnovers will be an issue.
Thomas Bowe, Jags 9, Bills 6. Exactly my point. Yeah, that was exactly my point. Can we throw that one out? Yeah, no.
I'm going with Tampa and I'm going with the over.
Okay, I'm with you. I think the Bills will come out with a better game plan than they had last week. I agree that I'm just busting your balls a little bit. I don't think you can throw that game out. It did say a lot about the mettle of those two teams.
I just don't know what the takeaway is, though. It's a spot where Buffalo was close. They had a shot to win the game. Their kicker missed a kick in the fourth quarter because he kicked it right down the middle and the wind blew at 45 degrees or 45, whatever to the left.
And remember, that was the good side, as you called it, Scott.
That was the good side, but that's the point, is that I don't know how I can look at that game and go, Allen was terrible. This team couldn't stop the run. Could they not stop the run? Or New England just run the ball 46 times? I don't know. So I'm going to toss it out, but give me Tampa anyway.
Okay. All right. So you're not running over Shoe.
JC, I'm with you. Yeah. NFL cards not great. Can we get some cornhole action?
I don't want to put out a request over the internet for cornhole action. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. You don't have to search it up on Google. I'm just answering this
question. Do
not
search for cornhole action on Google. Kids, don't do that. If there's anybody young listening, which seeing their demographics, there isn't. But if somebody's paying attention in the room, don't do that. I hold in my hand the last game of the week, Scott. Not really, but this is a game that they didn't flex out. It's an NFC North battle.
How do you not flex Buffalo Tampa to the Sunday night game?
I think because that Buffalo Bills performance is just too fresh in people's minds from last week.
I think you understand my point. You cannot put Justin Fields on primetime and expect people to be excited.
Bet the farm pick NFL game. I'm new to the show, which is, by the way, very underrated.
Thank you. But for Bet the Farm NFL picks, it's kind of an oxymoron because we would never bet the farm on any of these games.
But we have them coming up right after this game.
We have our favorite picks, but we don't have a farm play.
Yeah, we did. Spoiler alert, though. We did hit our farm yesterday.
The racers were racing.
7 in a row, baby. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Bears, Packers, 12.5, 43. God, you got to thread the needle again here. You want to play the Packers in the under. No more Andy Dalton, buddy.
Just punch me in the face.
Not going to have the red rifle to kick around anymore. Can I interest you?
No, you might get Allen Robinson back. So
that's huge. That is huge. Now he can.
Is it huge?
No, I was going to say now he has somebody else just to stare at him and be pissed off.
I was going to say, like, he's a good receiver historically speaking, but this season, no matter who's a wide receiver, they can't throw the ball.
And why is that? Because
the quarterback plays atrocious.
Is there a future for Fields? What have we got here? Because he has shown the arm strength. He has shown the ability to make NFL throws, but he hasn't shown the ability to do it consistently. I haven't dove incredibly deep into it, but the rumblings I'm hearing, he's not great at recognizing defenses yet. That's not unusual for a rookie quarterback. The thing is, the question is, can he get better? Will he get better?
I put him in the same boat as Zach Wilson. He's on a crappy team and he's getting his ass kicked. Can you really read much into it? I'm not. Do you think Nagy's a very solid offensive mind that's perfect for a young quarterback? Of course not.
Right.
Fields got injured because the system and really just the lack of cohesion from top to bottom, even from the front office, has gotten him killed. And that's why I missed a couple of games. So I'm not going to roast Fields. I wasn't a big fan of him coming into the NFL. But when you're going to the Bears and they haven't had a good quarterback since Jim McMahon, Jay Cutler, maybe?
You can even make the case that Jim McMahon was overrated, but
Jay Cutler maybe for a year? You're going to a factory of sadness for quarterbacks. It's like blaming a Cleveland quarterback for being awful over there. Like, what are you supposed to do? You know?
Yeah, I agree. I
don't like Fields as a quarterback, but I'm not going to blame him for what's happened this year. He's the product of an awful system right now.
Well, I can tell you, it just takes one, man, because Kansas City was in those same doldrums. The Brody Croyle, Brady Quinn, Damon Heward. We were stuck in that same cycle. It just takes that one dude. Of course, we had Alex Smith, which was certainly a great placeholder.
You had Trent Green for a little while. He wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but you're going back. There was the doldrums there.
Trent Green was okay. You had Montana for about a year or two.
Okay, now we're just going back before you were born.
I'm saying they went for the veteran approach, which is what Chicago tried to do, but I think Joe Montana is better than Andy Dalton.
I like trading our shitty player for your shitty player when they traded Orton for Cutler. That was one of my personal favorites. As far as this game goes, Scott, let's get out of here. We're gonna wrap this up.
Give me the Packers in the under.
How do you? I don't know how you don't play that.
I think Nagy shouldn't have a job, so I'm gonna fade the terrible coach.
This is the Packers team is about the only thing you can really count on this season as far as the spread. They're 10-2 against the number. Bears have been awful against the number.
It's in Lambeau. Rodgers owns Chicago. It's going to be pain and suffering.
Yeah, I agree. This is a Bears offense that's averaging less than 17 points, and I don't think they get close to that. I'll take I'll take the threadiest of thread needles here, Scott. You know what? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm taking the Packers. I am going to play the over, though. I think
give me 31-10.
I think the Packers could hang 31-35 on them, and So I'll give you the under, and I totally understand the logic there. By the way,
I just said 31-10. I think Chicago contributes nothing.
That's really going to be the question. So we go to halftime, Scott. The Kansas Jayhawks holding a minuscule 22-point lead. All I have to do is keep from losing by more than 1 point in the second half. I think I'm in good shape.
You're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. By the way, this is not a gambling strategy I would ever recommend to anybody. Don't ever bet with your heart. And I put a very nominal amount. I put $20 on my Tigers just to have a little rooting interest. But
go Tigers.
Because I knew I wouldn't be able to root for them to win the game because they would have absolutely no shot. And
at least you didn't take the first half.
No, at least I didn't take the first half. So I did get Colorado State home, though. I'm pretty happy about that. So, Scott, there's only one thing left to do, and let's do it right now. Get ready for our 5,000-star whale play. Fade the Public Sharks 1 million unit lock of the century. By the way, some people talking about the Rams on Monday night. I'm not going to give that away. That'll leave us nothing for the show on Monday. So I'm going to say,
we don't talk about the Monday night game.
We do not speak of it. It is dead to us until Monday. All right, Scott. Hey, losers walk.
All right. So for this one, I'm going to be looking at a matchup between the Broncos and the Lions, and I'm taking the Lions team total under 16.5 at minus 133 on Fox Bet. The Lions have scored less than 17 points in 4 of their last 5 games. The only exception was last week's game against Minnesota, and we know Minnesota's an absolute psycho team. Now, Detroit has really no quality running backs left on the roster. Swift is out. We already knew that. Jamal Williams got COVID yesterday. He's officially out. You have a third-string running back and a fourth-string running back as your main 2 options. I don't exactly expect that to go well on the ground, but Denver's defense has been very good lately. They've allowed less than 17 points in 4 of their last 5 games, technically 3 of the last 5, but Kansas City finished with 22 points because of a pick 6, so I'm not going to blame the defense for that. The point is that the Broncos have one of the most underrated defenses in all of football, and it's even better at home. The Lions, with no ground game, and with Goff, who we know is still awful, despite the nice fourth-quarter comeback last week, I expect the Lions to score around 10 to 13 points in this game, but 16.5 involves them scoring 2 touchdowns and kicking a field goal. I don't see that happening. Give me the team total under.
All right, fair enough, Scott. You know, I'm torn between a couple of different picks here. I'm going to out Reichel. Reichel. Just thought of that. Sorry.
All good.
Did you ever get a hard time about that due to the Seinfeld reference?
No, because a lot of the people my age group didn't watch Seinfeld as much as they should, but I got the reference as soon as you said it.
I knew you. I counted on you, buddy. That's why you and I can hang. But yeah, I counted on you. But I'm going to go to the Reichel playbook here.
First quarter? Indeed.
And you know who I'm going to play in the first quarter, Scott? Ideas?
Oh, of course. Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely. We have talked about this a lot in the past. Andy Reid is the master of the scripted plays, and it has never been more evident than it has been this season. Absolutely stunning. I don't have the stats in front of me because I've been very busy today. But if you are a regular listener to the show, a regular viewer of the show, you guys know we talk about this, about how good the scripted plays have been, and they have been outstanding. This is a Las Vegas team that does not score well in the first quarter. They average just 3.5 points per game in the first quarter. It takes them a while to get going. And I like the Chiefs in the first quarter. I don't like what the offense has done after that, Scott. It's once the script runs out, it's an ugly day. But for the first drive, or even if they go 3 and out, we saw it a couple of weeks ago, they went 3 and out in the first drive. They got the ball back. They immediately stayed with the script, went down, drove right down the field, scored a touchdown. I like Chiefs first half. We're going to call it we'll call it -3 in the first quarter. Sorry, I said half, but yeah, first quarter.
Cool.
All right, there you go. Brad Crawford says, I hope you guys are right. I'll give the Rammers another chance. If they don't cover, that means I got rammed in the beep again. I think we've all been rammed in the beep a couple of times this year, buddy. But it's time to stop. It's time to turn around to get rammed in the front. No, that's not right. All right, Scott. Hey, I'm giddy because we get 48 hours off. I'm pretty excited about that. We get 48 hours off. All we have to do is our regular pick job. So,
yep,
cool. Hey, everybody, thanks for checking us out. Let's we appreciate everybody hanging out. It's kind of a little looser format. We have a little more fun. Not like that lockdown shit we do during the week, but we kind of let down our hair and have the backdrop tilted, whatnot. So, anyway, what do you got? Somewhere to be? What do you? You're giving me the anyway. Are you giving me the fucking anyway?
I'm not giving you the anyway. I'm just letting you do your thing.
Okay, I'm like a siren. I get wound up here at the end. So
I'm just waiting for your dog to start barking again.
I know. I'm really pressing our luck here. You guys have a great day. Have a great fucking weekend. Let's go out there and beat the shit out of these books. All right. If you don't go beat the shit out of the books, I'll cuss even more. That'll teach you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Scott, you have a great weekend too. Yep. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see you guys right back here, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, on Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. We'll see you Monday. Take care, everybody.